My name is Margaret Adele, and welcome to another indie book review. This is one that I got off one of those ARC sites, but it is a series that I've been keeping up with, and I have gotten review copies from the author in the past, and that is Eros by Carly Spade. This is the fourth book in the Contemporary Mythos series. Technically, these can all be read as standalones, but I really think you're doing yourself a disservice if you do that, because they fit much better and it has better world building if you read them in order and kind of watch things be built upon each other. So this one is, once again, the story of a god falling in love with a human in the modern realm, and this one is, of course, Eros, the god of love, often called Cupid by the Romans. And they do make a joke about how, why the Romans have to portray me as a little baby, which was really amusing. And our human in this case is a woman named Alani, who has created this dating service, basically all about finding your compatible match. It's very much the classic rom-com. The woman is too busy and doesn't really believe in love type of deal. And admittedly, I was a little nervous at first. I'm like, oh, is this going to be one of those, oh, look at the poor businesswoman tropes? However, there's enough different with her character and enough nuance that she has that she doesn't just feel like a recycled generic rom-com character. The biggest one being that she is very, very proud of her Scottish heritage. There's an entire section where she actually goes to Scotland to participate in like the calling of the clans to represent her family, and it's a very big deal for her. A large portion of the books takes place in Scotland, and I do like how in this book you don't just meet all the gods in America. It's not like literally all of this ancient pantheon is coming to one country. You meet a couple of them in different places. For example, in this one, Eros is in Canada. And the chemistry is pretty immediate. However, this is a slow burn compared to some of the other stories, because while Eros might realize certain things about Alani being god of love, he also knows that he's got to take it slowly, and not just because he can't reveal who he is right away. So he makes a bet with her that she has to use her algorithm on herself to find a date that has to last more than 3 months, because that's the big thing, is she can't get a boyfriend to last for more than 3 months. And if she doesn't, he gets to alter the code that her company runs on, that the website runs on, to find matches. And of course, it's her baby, so she doesn't want him to touch it, but also she's very proud, so she's like, you know what, I can do this. And so there's a lot of like generic bad date tropes for a lot of them, which is more or less whatever, but that's fine. That's not really what you're there for anyway. You're there for the god human aspect of it. But this book I particularly enjoyed because it did build on the world. There are certain parts that happen technically during the third book, Ares. She goes to the fight that Harmony is a part of in that story and sees part of it. So it's kind of cool seeing things built out, and that the characters are a lot more interconnected than you assumed. I also love that she has a friend that's just like, what if he is the god of love? Just like out of nowhere, just like, what if he is? Like, none of this, oh no, he couldn't be. Some people are like, yeah, you know, maybe. This one also has a lot more intriguing with it in that how it approaches the other deities. You see a little bit of Aphrodite in here, and things aren't entirely going well for her. But number one, of course, brownie points, bonus brownie points for not hating on Hera. Love that part. She's not really in the story a lot. I would love a story where she wasn't. But another character, and I'm not going to spoil it because it's kind of a cool reveal, talks about her in like actual good ways, which you don't usually see in these. It's always like, oh, she's the horrible, jealous harpy of the entire thing. And it's like, the woman was forced to marry the man that sexually assaulted her and then watched him disrespect her for centuries. I'd be mad too. And also, yes, as the book mentions, Hera is literally the protector of women. So like, maybe let's not hate on the goddess meant to protect women. But it was a completely random side note. Like, it's not a gigantic part of the story. I mean, it's a cool reveal near the end, but I'm like, yes to the not hating Hera, because I'm so tired of that. The plot itself is fairly standard for like 2/3 of it. It reminded me a lot of the last third of the first book, Hades, in which the first 2/3 are like, standard falling in love romance, and then it's like epic battle near the end. Not like an entire epic battle. There's like one epic battle scene that's not quite as epic as the one in Hades, but that's fine. The one in Hades is like really epic. But you also see some other aspects of Scottish culture and folklore and a little bit of their supernatural aspects that I really appreciated. And of course, if we're talking about a romance, we also have to mention the steamy scenes, because it's like, if you're gonna have it be the literal god of love, like you gotta really put effort into the steamy scenes, and they were properly steamy. I don't know that I would say they were significantly more so than the other books. Like, I don't know that there was all that much difference. Part of me is like, oh, the wings, but like, no, a version of Hades has wings. So like, still all the fun stuff. But it's even if it's not necessarily a lot more steamy than the other books, considering it's the God of Love, it's still the same steamy from before. So if you liked all of the other books, you're gonna like this one. It's more of the same. I was really happy with this one because the third book was really underwhelming for me, and this one picked it up a lot more. I am a huge fan of slow burn romances, and even the very cliche rom-com tropes that it starts with didn't necessarily annoy me that much. But one of my particular favorite parts about this is near the end, when you get to see something from Eros's point of view. The whole giant portion of the end takes place from his POV, and I love it because, as I've mentioned before on my channel, dual or multiple POVs in a romance is my favorite because it's double the angst and pining, and I love to see it. In fact, I would have liked to see a little bit more of Eros's POV earlier, when he's like actively pining for a woman while she's basically dating other dudes in front of him as part of the bet he made. Like, I feel like that would be some delightful angst. But in general, I like that I get to see it. I hope that we see it more in future books. I have no idea how long this series is supposed to be. I know there's the next book coming out is Poseidon, and there are a lot of other relationships that would be possibilities. They hint at one for Aphrodite, which, yes, please, can we get one of the goddesses up in here? I'm still upset that we don't have more of the goddesses being the ones falling in love, or a goddess or god in a queer relationship. But like, whatever. I'll just have to wait to see my Hestia get involved in anything. Regardless, I really enjoyed this series, continue to enjoy it. I like seeing the world building as it is built, with this giant cast of characters. I love how they routinely bring up the same characters or characters from previous books. That is, for me, it's really the core calling card of these kind of romance series, where yes, I want to see each different couple get together, but like, I also want to keep seeing the couples that I followed in the previous books and see where they're at. What are they doing? That's kind of the fun of it, and that's why you make it a series as opposed to just a series of complete standalones. And like I mentioned before, while you can read this as a standalone, it works best, at least for me. You get the best experience if you read it in the series, so you can get all of the jokes and all of the little Easter eggs and cameos. They just mean a lot more to you if you've read those books first. In general, though, I gave this book 5 stars. Very much enjoyed it, and I continue to look forward to what Carly Spade comes out with next. Yes, I am still closed to review requests for right now. I feel like I'm getting closer and closer to being able to say, yes, I am back in the game. I have gotten review books done, but like every time I'm about to say that, I end up going on like a mental health break for a week. So like, we're gonna walk carefully this time. Regardless, with nothing else to say, I hope you have a wonderful day, and a marvelous tomorrow.